Over 200 fintech providers in the Philippines today. We are joined actually with two of the most leading fintech providers, no, and platforms. So before we go any further, no, I already introduced myself. So maybe at this point, no, maybe it's just fitting that we hear, no, from the our leader from DTI Rizal, our official in charge and provincial director DTI Rizal, Miss Cleo M. Duran. Miss Cleo, magandang umaga po sa inyo.
Magandang umaga, Mr. MJ Panganiban. So nice to meet you. And we welcome everyone for this day's activity. We have a Fintech Friday. Yay! Aside from it's a TGIF, we are something to be happy about, Fintech Friday. And as we end the work week, we are very to be learning more for our businesses. We welcome everyone who is here. Please disseminate this information to your colleagues, to your mga amigas, amigos in the business sector, because your growth in business means a lot to DTI, and definitely it will be for your family. And when the business, the family grows, the community you are in, the province of Rizal, and indirectly the Philippines will we contribute to job generation, to income generation, to upliftment of the financial life of the people you will have within you and the community. Only one of the services to share with you. Please give it a try, diba, Sir MJ? We want to, at this point, thank our partners, Mr. MJ Panganiban, Ms. Gracie Reyes, Mr. of Paybiz, and Mr. Edison Chai. Did I it right? Of in technologies. So with that, excited na tayo. Hindi ko napapahabain. You are the bida for today. And any questions, Sir MJ, no? Yun lang, tulungan natin for more clarification. There's a more buy-in for program. And I'd like to acknowledge the group of Sharon, sila Jason, Marlene, and the rest of the team. We're always here. We lead and we stand beside you and behind you all fronts para tayo ay sama-sama dito at magyaman lahat. Okay, we want you to grow wealthy in terms of your business and hopefully uplift the whole community with you at the front, no? So kailangan po natin 'to, no? Ito po ang kailangan natin sa mga panahon na 'yon, and we should be given at this point in time kasi po lumalawak ang ating mundo, lumalawak ang ating market. So you are not only have your clients within the confines of Rizal or Calabarzon, but the whole world. Have a good day and a happy listening to this wonderful activity. Thank you very much. Bye-bye po.
Ayan, maraming salamat, Ma'am Cleo, no? But before po kayo magbabay, no? Kasi ito ay pambihirang pagkakataon na mapagsama-sama natin yung ating mga MSMEs at yung ating po mga leaders ng DTI Rizal. Siguro let's actually start our session with a very nice photo op, no? So if possible, pwede po ba tayong mag-open ng ating mga camera at ating ilabas yung ating nagagandahan at nagagwapuhang mga mukha, no? Para at least alam po namin na hindi po robot namin. Kasi especially that we are doing this virtually, no? Yung ating interaction, yung ating human touch sana ay ma-extend kahit papaano using our camera. So at this point, meron pa tayong mga iba nagbubukas pa. At yung iba, I'm happy to see na iba naka-makeup pa, no? So so happy to see that na again kahit virtual talagang maganda, pinaghahandaan talaga. At maraming salamat. Let us know whenever you're ready so that kami ay makangiti ng ating pinakamagandang ngiti ngayong umaga.
Ma'am EJ. Ma'am EJ, Sir Paulo, ano na lang po. Paulo.
Direct, whenever you're ready, Direct.
Okay na po, sir.
Okay na. Sige, siguro ako na muna. No? Tingin po tayo ulit sa camera. Isang magandang ngiti. Ready? 1, 2. Alright. Okay. Tingnan lang natin sa second page. Meron pa lang second page. No? Saglit lang ha. Ay, yung iba pala nagmamaneho. Pasensya na. No? Anyway, so isa po ulit. 1, 2, 3 and smile. Alright. Maraming salamat po. Okay. So muli, again, magpapakilala po ako. Pwede na po kayong mag-turn off na yung camera kasi I think some of you are also using data, no? So syempre para medyo makatipid-tipid sa internet, no? At syempre para mas makita nyo para mas dire-diretso din yung streaming ng ating presentations. Yun, usually mas maganda nakapatay muna yung video and maybe keep your mics muted at all times unless meron po kayong mga specific questions or clarification during the presentation ng ating mga presenters, lalo na sa akin, yung ating partners from Paynamics, Paybiz at Seedin. No? Kasi a lot of these are relatively new information na gusto namin ibahagi sa inyo. And for sure, siguro meron sa inyo may mga certain level of alinlangan, may clarification. So do not hesitate to ask these types of questions. Pero kung medyo shy type naman kayo at medyo nahihiya kayo mag-open ng mic, wag din mahihiya na pwede na i-type sa chat box. At this point, siguro 2 years to the pandemic and doing virtual session, marunong tayo gumamit ng chat box. So yun, siguro hindi na natin patagalin. First of all, again, siguro we just want to again acknowledge our partners for our session. So kasi ingat, this is actually again the first installment or rather the pilot episode for Fintech Fridays. So Fintech Fridays po, plural po siya kasi po ay ang objective po namin nung ito ay pinag-uusapan at kino-conceptualize po namin ni Miss Sharon ng DTI Rizal is ito po ay umpisa pa lamang at lahat hopefully for the months of August and September we will be conducting this Fintech Fridays virtual session na kung saan magpapakilala po tayo ng mga iba't ibang emerging platforms sa ralangan ng fintech. We're fortunate for this episode we have 2 of them. So again, the overall objective is iling po yung ating mga MSMEs tulad ninyo na aming mga stakeholders na sa secure at digital payment and fintech platforms. So para lang ma-manage po yung expectations, ano po yung mangyayari ngayong umaga. So if you can actually look at the screen, we'll start with Fintech 101. So essentially, ano po ba yung ating state of digital in the Philippines? Why does it matter? And how can it actually be helpful to your advantage? Ano yung mga dapat i-prioritize natin sa larangan ng pagdidigital in the interest of fintech? And then a few minutes later, proceed with our digital payments presentation na kung saan nandito po yung ating partner na Paynamics, Paybiz. How do they actually set apart sa mga existing payments na katulad ng GCash, Paymaya, so paano sila makakatulong doon sa larangan ng digital payments kung saan kung iniisip natin mag-digitize ng pag-accept customer, paano sila makakatulong yung kanilang produkto o yung kanilang platform sa ating mga negosyante. And then pag pinag-usapan kasi ang fintech, no, ang ibig sabihin kasi ng fintech ay financial technology. So isa sa mga most common sa fintech ay digital payments, pero syempre some of us, no, especially kayo mga negosyante, may have relevant needs, no, relating to finance. So for example, meron kayong required capitalization, meron kayong paggagamitan, bibili kayo ng equipment, no? Ano ba yung mga paano ba makakatulong katulad ng isang partner natin ngayong umaga, yung Seedin Philippines or Seedin Technologies, yung fintech platform na to, kung paano sila makakatulong for us to actually look for potential investment, no? Kung saan makapag-invest tayo ng equipment, magpatayo ng para sa ating negosyo. So paano makakatulong yung kanilang fintech platform naman. At pag nakapag-present na po yung ating partners, no, from the fintech industries, syempre, no, bibigyan ng pagkataon for question and answer kasi for sure, no, magiging maikli yung 30 to 40 minutes na presentation nila at yung pagkakataon nito to actually ask specific questions na sa palagay natin ay requires clarification, no, and maybe, no, wrap it up with some takeaways as well, no, our partners from DTI Rizal. So does it actually, again, parang ito ba ay aligned, no, sa mga naging expectations nyo to joining the session this morning? So kung sa palagay nyo ito yung ina-expect nyo nung kayo ay inimbita ng DTI, can you actually click the heart button? Alam natin na, or para alam ko na may kausap ako dito sa ating virtual session. All right, thank you. All right, so to get things started, maybe I will begin already the session. So as mentioned, my name is MJ Panganiban, and I'm fortunate, no, na I've already been working with actually some of our national government agencies, particularly with the Department of Trade and Industry, the past 12 years, where I spent, no, most of my time working either as a consultant or member of the technical working group, among other things, no, in digital development relating to e-commerce, obviously. I'll be starting the session by starting with the Fintech 101. So ano ba yung Fintech? Kung titingnan yung Fintech landscape sa Pilipinas, ito daw po yung ating Fintech map na this year or 2022. So kung titingnan niyo po, if you'll actually pay attention dun sa ating screen, no, meron po tayong 51 fintech providers. Meron po tayong 29 na fintech providers sa pagdating sa remittance, sa e-wallet ay 29, sa lending ay 65, blockchain and cryptocurrency 28, digital banks ay 6, crowdfunding, PropTech or property technology, digital banks, wealth tech, KYC or know your customer, regulator tech, and insurtech. To be transparent with you, medyo malawak po talaga yung scope ng financial technology kung tutusin. Kasi iba-iba po yung perspective or verticals na pwede nilang i-resolve sa ating mga negosyo. Yun, one of the most popular as you can see, no, is really payments, no. Lending on the other hand, yung nakikita niyo sa screen, a lot of these lending platforms, ito ay mga business consumer rather, no, or these are directly to the consumers. But what we actually have today, no, is actually more on more on the side of our businesses, no, on how we can actually grow through P2P lending. So doon po papasok si Seedin. So si Seedin is actually isa doon sa 3 na merong lisensya sa Pilipinas na pwede mag-operate ng crowdfunding in the Philippines, no. Yung ating partner po from Paynamics actually is part of the 51 dito sa payments at isa rin sila dito sa 29 of the e-wallets, no. So unfortunately, itong ating morning session will not be enough, no, to cover all of these 216 fintech providers. So we will focus muna sa ating digital payments at crowdfunding at paano makakatulong yung crowdfunding platforms sa ating mga negosyo, no. But before we go any further, let's talk about Philippines and the state of digital in the Philippines 2022. So And again, I don't know if this is already a surprise, but in the Philippines, we're already at 70% internet penetration. So medyo digital na tayo. This is actually a very significant improvement 10 years ago. So 10 years ago, wala pa nga tayong 20%. Ngayon, more than half of our population is already connected to the internet. At lahat yan is actually we can take credit to, again, the emerging, rather the emergence of smartphones in the Philippines, no? Na kung saan yung mga pag-connect sa mga Wi-Fi, yung mga free data was actually one of the biggest contributor to this to this growth, no? Not to mention yung ating mga telco players in the country as also medyo dumadami. Dati Smart at Globe lang, at ngayon meron tayong dito among other telco players, no? And the other factor that helps contribute to that is yung ating popularity, no, at pag-embrace ng mga Pilipinas sa social media, having the need to connect with our loved ones, especially, no, in this pandemic situation that we're in. So many of us really signed up on social media platforms to get in touch with either with our loved ones, no. So obviously, no, out of 100 million Filipinos, again, 70% of that already connected to the internet. And because of our quote unquote addiction to the internet, we are actually been tagged by some of internet statistics authorities, no, kung saan yung Pilipino daw tayo daw may pinakamatagal, no, na ginugugol na oras sa internet. In fact, to be specific, 10 hours and 27 minutes. However, bilang Pilipino, most of this time that we spend online, we really spent on social media, entertainment, if not, no, entertaining ourselves in the process. But if we are going to look at naman yung statistics pagdating sa dami ng ginagamit na apps, no, sa Pilipinas, although again it's no surprise na Facebook and Messenger is actually on the top 1 and 2, mapapansin nyo dito sa slide na to, Lazada and Shopee and GCash are some of the most popular apps na pinakaginagamit ng mga Pilipino. So this is just an indication na yung ating po mga kababayan are very already transactional in nature. So doon sa 70% na connected sa internet sa Pilipinas is already, kumbaga, we can considerably say that e-commerce is already democratized in the Philippines. Kasi nga parang kumbaga Lazada is Shopee is already part of our lifestyle. So if it's something na hindi natin mabili sa grocery or sa mall, we'll actually turn into these types of platform, no, to actually mix those types of purchases. Kaya one of the ways of digitalization among businesses is, or rather easiest, is to actually have our products, no, signed up on the likes of Shopee. GCash, on the other hand, is actually one of the success unicorns, no, na kung tawagin sa fintech world, no, not only in the Philippines but globally. It's actually the sole unicorn recognized globally, no, si GCash. And reportedly, sinasabi nila to the latest report released by GCash, they now have over 60 million users in the Philippines. So from that particular statement alone, no, kung 111 million Filipinos tapos sila ay meron 60 million users ng GCash, so more than half of the population as well in the Philippines already or highly likely has GCash accounts, no? At kung kayo ay may negosyo, siguro for sure right now you might have already considered paano ba ako makakapag-receive ng payment through GCash, or paano ba ako again receive ng digital forms of payment, no? And again, one of the most popular channel is really GCash. So these are just some of the thoughts to really ponder on, no, as we actually try to dissect, no, how we actually perform as a country relating to our digitalization. In terms of use of financial services naman, no, as a country, nearly 30% of our population is already into banking, no, or may certain level of financial inclusion, while over 20% of our population has already made or received mobile payments, no. And if you actually dissect it further, 25% of our population have actually at least made or received digital forms of payment, no. And this data is only from 2021 to 2022. So ganito na karami. So considerably, kung i-reduce natin to 100 million Filipinos, this is 25 million already na very kumbaga transactional in nature, no. Hindi lang siya pang bills and payment. using the e-wallets, for example, is just 3.3%. No, to our surprise, 25% of the total users in the Philippines have already, again, 25% of that have made and received digital forms of payment. And again, I see some familiar brands, no, na ako personally nakita ko na sa mga national food fair or ibang trade fair ng DTI. For sure, no, meron kayong mga potential customers na you had to deal with, na kung saan nagtanong, do you actually accept GCash, do you accept Paymaya, do you accept credit card, no? So this alone, again, the population in general already, again, receive and make digital forms of payment already, no, by default, no. And again, there's no way else to go but up, no. So this is again very timely, no, that we're talking about financial inclusion today, no. Now, in terms of the consumer goods naman, kung titingnan natin, we have nearly 50 million, 43 million to be specific, in terms of the number of Filipinos purchasing goods online. And this actually contributes about 30%, or rather 31.8% in terms of share of consumer goods spent, rather made online, no. While per consumer, it actually generates an average of $388, no. So yung pagbili online, yung paggamit ng digital forms of payment already has a bearing in terms of the consumer behavior, no, for just to again explain that further. And in terms of growth, siguro again, if we do not digitize the way we do our business, this is the amount of growth or value that we are missing. Kasi kung titingnan natin dito sa data na to, from 2021 to 2022, there was a surge, if not a significant increase in terms of the growth of number of people making digital payment in the Philippines, no. So in terms of number, 11.4% to be specific in naging growth. And in terms of growth naman, in terms of the basket size o yung amount na tinatransact nila, mas lumaki ng 38%, no, from the previous year. So ibig sabihin, yung appetite o yung confidence ng mga tao, yung trust nila towards digital forms of payment is tumataas na rin. So this is again just more like a call out to our MSMEs, to our MSME stakeholders, na kung hindi pa kayo nag-invest or nag-explore ng digital forms of payment, you are in the right webinar today, no, because this is something that we are looking to help you resolve, no. In terms of how we use our mobile device naman, no, naging very popular na rin yung pag-scan ng QR code, no. In fact, when you go to some of the cashiers, no, or counters, no, sa mga department stores, sa mga supermarket, no, nakikita nyo na merong mga parang banderitas doon. Merong ibang QR code kay GCash, ibang QR code kay Paymaya, ibang QR code kay ShopeePay, ibang QR code kay GrabPay, no. So yung pag-scan ng QR code has become actually part of our way of doing business, yung part of our convenience. Kasi nga naman, no, isa i-type ko yung number niya, i-scan ko na lang yung QR code, no, nung establishment, no, pinagtatransakan ko. It's actually easier than inputting mobile number and inputting the amount, no? So yun, so medyo naging familiar tayo pag-scan ng QR code. And again, about 29% of the time we use our mobile devices, no, in making a mobile payment. So again, this is very timely discussion for these types of topics, no. So pagdating sa QR code, no, I just want to share this particular video from the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, as they already try to champion this, no, even pre-pandemic, as to what will be the benefits and how they think it actually suits, no, the needs of the country. Let's watch this for a couple of minutes.
Is more than just a series of squares and grids. It stands for a world of possibilities for Filipinos in the new economy. A new beginning. A new livelihood. A new way to go places. A new way of life.
Sa paggamit ng QR barcode as payment sa sari-sari store, mas mabilis siya para sa akin kasi diretso na siya sa account ko. Sa safety naman, kung halimbawa sa isang sari-sari store meron kang tao, so iwas na makukupitan ka.
Malaking tulong po. Mas maganda kung lahat ng tao makagamit ng isang QR code para lahat po makinabang. Hindi lang ako, kundi lahat na din po sa mga customer na gustong gumamit ng QR code.
Dahil sa sistemang ito, nakakaangat po sa taguntong tricycle driver. Nakakasabi kami sa bagong teknolohiya. Dati, sinasabi namin, barya lang po sa umaga. Pero ngayon, i-scan na lang po yung cellphone. Kahit na po.
Sana yung palengke rin na pinagbibilang ko, kaya yung ibang distributor namin ng gulay, meron din silang queue para yun na lang din ang transaction namin. Mas maganda kung halos lahat ng tao yun ang alang ginagamit eh. At least mabilis na, hindi na kami magsusukli.
Napakalaki po ang naitutulong niya sa akin dahil hindi na po ako pupunta sa iba't ibang bangko na makipag-transact, kundi is po yung card ay pwede mo na pong gamitin.
As access is given to everybody, more families have a chance at a better life. Powering a new generation of Filipinos whose daily lives are easy, comfortable, and more convenient. One national QR standard. One track towards the future of payments. As one digital nation, we thrive.
So in summary, no, siguro one of the main takeaways na gustong i-resolve ng Bangko Sentral is well, let's first talk about the advantages, no, as mentioned by the users themselves, no, during their testimonials or quote-unquote testimonials. So yung sari-sari store, iwas kupit. So syempre, no, again, since these are directly to the wallet, so syempre bilang negosyo, no, habang kayo ay lumalaki, syempre as you actually scale your business, syempre you have to eventually you would have to delegate certain tasks, no, to some employees, no. And again, not all the time tayo po yung may hawak ng kaha, or rather yung essentially yung acceptance of the payment from our customer. So from a perspective ng isang sari-sari store halimbawa, no, so sa kanyang palagay, nakakatulong yung QR code, no, sa pag-receive ng payment, so that it goes directly to the wallet at wala nang suklian, no, kasi mention nung sa palengke naman. So wala nang suklian at nga iwas kupit. Number 2 nga, wala nang suklian. And again, kasi yung usually issue, no, when you actually pay using medyo malalaking bills, no, yung mga tigo 1,000 na hindi pwedeng itupi, no, among other things. So, but again, if you actually use QR for mode of payment, di na natin kailangan na magdala ng wallet all the time, because all you have to do is just pull out your mobile device that you usually carry naman with you, no, most of the time, if not all. And then lastly, these are essentially branchless, no. So to make a deposit, no, or withdrawal, practically everything actually revolves around the mobile device already. So hindi mo na kailangan pumila, hindi mo kailangan kumuha ng number. So kumbaga hindi siya ganon. For example, especially that we're still in pandemic. So yung least possibility of getting infected is relatively low, no. And overall, no, as a regulator who actually prints out our bills, no, and produces the coins that we use in our circulation. So sa perspektibo ni Bangko Sentral, the lesser that we actually manufacture or produce bills and coins for our circulation is actually much better for the economy, no. So mas less yung kailangan nilang i-produce in the process, no. So hindi lang si Bangko Sentral yung trying to champion ng digital payments. Halimbawa si DTI, no, sa kanilang e-commerce office, they're also trying to do their own share of infomercials, if not education series in promoting digital, in particular to digital payments. So meron silang mga ganyang type of education drive, no. Meron para sila I've seen one of the episodes, para po tong Korean love story, para po siyang K-drama, pero merong halong education on fintech or in fintech and digital payments. So I would encourage you to go to the YouTube channel of DTI e-commerce office at mapanood niyo yung kanilang K-drama series, no, for digital payments, no? So there. Now, engaging our customers, one of the as a business, no, especially our small medium enterprises, ito usually yung, kumbaga, when I conduct workshops, no, this is essentially the checklist I usually go with, no. So digital storefront, invest and integrate payment systems, but in the interest of time, we will just focus on investing and integrating payment systems. So obviously there's like a variety of payment options out there for sure, no. Again, one of the most popular option is really GCash, credit card, and Paymaya, no, which actually a very strong second among other things, no. But again, since medyo mababa nga, rather still growing pa yung ating payment adoption, not many businesses are actually accepting digital yet. So kaya in turn, medyo may low trust pa, or still kumbaga developing pa yung ating trust sa pagdating sa digital payments, no. Kaya many of our potential customers still have to rely, no, so much, no, on social proof, no, na parang legit ba tong kausap ko, bago ko mag-GCash dito sa particular enterprise na to, parang matagal na ba to, may mga reviews ba siya, among other things, no. So yung burden of yung burden of due diligence usually goes with the customer, no, instead of having this already taken care of, because our infrastructure medyo mababa yung adoption, among other things, kaya ganito yung itsura ng ating economy, no. And to help us understand better the digital payments in the Philippines, what are the challenges and opportunities that they could actually you can actually look at, no, in the country today. So I'm again pleased to introduce the Marketing and Branding Officer of Paynamics to talk about Paybiz, Miss Gracie Reyes. Miss Gracie, magandang umaga.
Magandang umaga, Sir MJ. Thank you for inviting us sa pilot episode ng iyong Fintech Fridays, and thank you also DTI Rizal.
You're welcome. So Miss Gracie, no, medyo nakapag-intro na tayo, no, on how we think na siguro impactful sa mga businesses natin yung pag-adapt to digital payments. So maybe you can use this time, no, maybe you can start to share your presentation already on how is the like of Paynamics could help yung ating mga MSME, especially that we already have, medyo familiar brand na nga yung Paymaya, yung GCash, with the amount of promotion that they really do, no, on campaigns and commercial, among other things, no. So how does it actually equate yung magiging contribution ni Paynamics given this particular situation? Take it away, Miss Gracie.
Thank you, Sir MJ, for that. Sige, mag-share lang ako ng screen. I think, sir, allow lang ng I'm very excited actually, tapos na-tense ako kasi nga pilot episode, tapos kami yung una eh. But anyways, yeah, let me just share my screen, and we're very excited actually. I think hindi na ata bago ito sa DTI, I believe, kasi we've been to Bulacan, and even nag-present na kami with different auto hubs, and actually, surprisingly, marami na ring mga auto hubs na gumagamit ngayon ng Paynamics Paybiz. So, unlock your business potential. Let's get started with Paybiz. This is the latest solution ni Paynamics. So, si Paybiz is powered by Paynamics. We're approved to operate as an e-money issuer. Paynamics Paybiz works under the regulation of Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, and we are proudly Pinoy. So, si Paybiz, na-create siya in 2020 in the middle of lockdown. Kasi ang heart talaga ni Paynamics is for the negosyanteng Pilipino. So, naisip namin, gusto namin mag-create ng platforms hindi lang para sa mga mapadali ang pag-accept nila ng mga payments, pero mas mapadali, mas yung online sales and also yung mga secured yung kanilang platform na ginagamit para sa pag-accept ng mga payment sa kanilang mga customer. So, discuss natin ano ba yung mga benefits ni Paybiz at yung mga advantages kapag ginamit ito ng mga negosyante. So, si Paybiz, there's no set of fee, no monthly fee, no sales quota requirement, and we only charge for every successful transaction. With Paybiz, you can now accept all the possible modes of payment in an effortless, fast, and secured way wherever your customers are. And even you as a merchant. Currently, sa aming portfolio, meron kaming 1,800 users ni Paybiz. So, isa sa mga benefit and advantages pag ginamit si Paybiz is yung may multiple payment options for mobile wallets, bank transfer, over-the-counter, and debit credit cards, pwedeng i-accept and pwede ka na mag-accept from your customer. So for example, si customer Gracie, may GCash siya. Si customer MJ, may BDO siya. Si customer Ian, may BPI siya. So si Paybiz is just one QR code with these payment options available na siya. So, as I mentioned, pwede mo nang i-manage yung mga transaction mo anytime, anywhere. Kasi available si Paybiz sa physical store. Kung makikita nyo sa left side yung store QR code namin, available din siya sa laptop, desktop, and available din siya sa Apple Store and Google Play. So pwede nyo i-download ang Paybiz app para, for example, si Merchant MJ nasa biyahe, tapos nagbayad si Customer Gracie. So si Merchant MJ, i-confirm na lang niya kung nagbayad si Customer Gracie sa kanyang Paybiz app. So, you can download it for free as well. Available siya sa Apple Store and Google Play. Benefit din ni Paybiz is meron tayong multiple ways to collect payment. So, from store, QR code, payment link, tsaka web store, ito yung pwede nyo ma-maximize kapag nag-register kayo kay Paybiz. So, discuss natin kung paano ba makakapagbayad si customer for store QR code muna tayo. So for store QR code, ang gagawin lang ni customer, kunin niya yung camera niya. Pag nakita niya tong Paybiz QR code na to, i-open niya yung mobile camera niya, click niya lang yung QR code, and then click niya yung link, tapos yung mga payment options na pinakita ko na available sa loob ng Paybiz, makikita niya na kaagad. And then from the customer side, kung decided na siya kung anong pipiliin niya, i-click niya lang yung logo nung payment option na pinili niya. For example, GCash. And then dito siya mapupunta sa page na to. And then once na gusto na mag-proceed ni customer, mag-fill up lang siya ng details and then boom, automatic paid na si customer. And mamaya papakita ko sa inyo paano ba makikita ni merchant na nagbayad si customer sa kanilang portal. So next naman nating i-discuss is si payment link. For example, may mga kausap tayo, especially yung mga online sellers natin, kausap natin sila sa Messenger, Viber, Telegram, 'di ba? WhatsApp. So pwede na natin ibigay at i-share itong payment link na pwede nating ma-generate inside Paybiz. So paano ba gagamitin ni customer to pag magbabayad siya sa link? Click niya lang yung isi-send na link ni merchant. And then from there, fill up lang ng details. And then same process kanina, namimili lang siya ng payment option na preferred niya and then payment successful na. So isa rin sa mga benefit ni Paybiz, pwede ka na ring mag-set up ng sarili mong online store. So kahit wala kang website at 'di ba minsan may mga ginagamit tayo like Lazada, Shopee, si Paybiz pwede mo nang i-customize yung sarili mong web store at pwede mo nang kumbaga i-own itong itong web store mo. So paano? With Paybiz web store, isi-set up po siya sa loob ng portal mo. Tapos si customer, may ability na siya to add to cart yung lahat ng products mo. And then kapag nakapag-add to cart na siya, fill up lang siya ng details, mamimili lang siya sa payment options na available kay Paybiz. Tapos automatic na mako-confirm mo na siya sa iyong Paybiz na portal. So ito yung mga modules na makikita natin as a merchant. So pag nag-login ka sa iyong username and your password, makikita mo yung mga Paybiz module. Meron tayong dashboard, merchant, inventory, transactions, and financials. For the dashboard, overview ng iyong Paybiz account. Punta ka lang sa merchant, makikita mo yung mga customer information, o tsaka mga description ng mga products mo. And even photos, pwede mong ilagay. And then, as I mentioned kanina, saan mo mako-confirm pag si Customer Gracie nag-scan ng QR code or si Customer MJ nag-click ng link. Si Customer Ian na bayad at nag-add to cart sa web store. So mako-confirm mo siya sa transaction. Real time pumapasok, makikita mo kaagad kung si Customer Gracie nagpa-process na siya ng transaction niya. Si Customer MJ nakapagbayad na siya. Si Customer MJ hindi nagbayad. Ganon. So makikita mo kaagad siya. So financial na module naman, so from your Biz wallet to your bank account na i-enroll mo sa loob ng portal mo, dito natin isi-settle yung mga funds mo from the Biz wallet to your bank account. So rest assured na lahat yon i-documented, pwede ka rin makapag-download ng store report mo, at least na-navigate mo at na-manage mo yung mga transactions mo and even yung sales mo ng madali lang sa loob ng Paybiz portal. So actually, malapit na akong matapos, ganun lang kadali si Paybiz gamitin eh. How to register? You can scan this QR code. Isi-send natin yung link sa chat box. Ayan. So all you have to do is to scan this QR code. Babalikan natin yung scanning ng QR code na to. You can go to www.paybiz.ph as well to register. And pakita ko lang sa inyo yung process ni Paybiz. Yung process flow natin, once na nag-sign up ka, mag-verify email tayo para at least ma-confirm natin yung personal email na ni-register mo. And then, mag-ask lang kami ng some details. As we mentioned, we work under the regulation of Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. And one of the requirements is yung business details mo and then mag-KYC upload ka. You will upload at least magsi-selfie ka and then magvi-video KYC ka. And then from there, after that, once na-approve na ang iyong KYC at na-detect na namin na hindi ka robot, merchant verified and you can now transact sa iyong Paybiz portal. Si Paybiz, meron lang siyang mga limits. So once na nakapag-register ka sa loob ng Paybiz mo, level 1 is up to 50,000 pesos pwede ka mag-transact. Pag level 2, gusto mong i-upgrade yung account mo up to 500,000 pesos. Siyempre, ang gusto natin mas higher level dahil mas gusto natin na mas maraming sale. Makapag-transact ka up to 500,000 pesos, may mga ipoprovide ka lang na document na i-upload mo sa loob ng Paybiz mo. And then, from there, once na na-approve na namin yon, pwede na namin i-upgrade yung iyong account into level 2. And for level 3, ipapakita mo lang ang iyong latest financial statement para ma-prove namin that you are transacting and kailangan mo ng higher limit. Okay? So again, how to register? You can scan this QR code. You can check the link sa iyong chat box. And if you have any question later on, magkakaroon tayo ng airtime. So that's the end of the presentation. Ganun lang kadali si Paybiz gamitin. Pwede mo na siya actually i-set up in less than 5 minutes once na nakapag-verify ka na, nakapag-KYC upload ka na, and then na-approve na namin on our end. Pwede mo nang gamitin ang iyong Paybiz link, store QR code, and even pwede mo nang i-upload yung mga products mo sa inventory, and then pwede mo nang i-set up at i-send yung web store mo sa iyong mga social media. Sir MJ?
Wow. Thank you so much, Gracie. No? So, in a nutshell, kasi nga, no, looking at doon sa payment options, no, na built-in na doon sa sinasabi mo kanina, na apparently, Paybiz, no, meron na siyang GCash agad, meron na siyang Paymaya, meron na rin siyang ShopeePay, meron na rin siyang GrabPay. So, ibig sabihin lang dito sa mga MSMEs natin, kung gusto nila mag-accept ng GCash, technically, they don't have to go directly to GCash and sign up for an account with GCash. And then similarly, kung gusto nila mag-accept ng Paymaya, they don't have to sign up kasi technically, lahat ng payment options na yon are already built in kay Paybiz.
Yes, sir. That's correct po.
Wow. So, yun. So, maybe, no, siguro, although wala pa tayo sa question and answer, and since you have time anyway, The way they can use yung kanilang Paybiz is one, they can scan QR codes na pwede nang ilagay sa mga countertops nila, no?
Yes, sir. That's correct po.
So yun, so pwedeng i-scan yung QR code, tapos doon pwede magbayad si customer. And si customer will have to choose ano yung pwede niya magbayad. So I guess some of the most common asked siguro questions relating to this, si customer ba kailangan din niya ng Paybiz para makapagbayad?
Sir, si Paybiz is merchant driven siya. So si merchant lang yung may ability at recommended na mag-download ng Paybiz app. Bakit? Dahil si merchant lang yung nagko-confirm ng mga transactions na pumapasok sa loob ng portal.
Okay, so ibig sabihin nito, pag nag-scan sila ng QR code or they actually attempt to make a payment, technically, hindi Paybiz ang ino-open ni customer. Ang ino-open ni customer is yung anong mode of payment ay pambabayad niya. Which
Yes,
is,
sir.
for example, when they scan the QR code, it will open either their GCash, their Paymaya, or Shopee Pay or GrabPay. And kung sila ay they will be enabled or activated to accept credit card, technically, doon sa cellphone nila nangyayari yung bayaran. Tama?
Yes, sir. That's correct po.
I
So
see.
sa merchant side, mako-confirm niya yung mga pumasok na transactions sa kanyang transaction na module.
I guess provide sa mga MSMEs here is, yun nga, no, to your point, no, pwede mas madali na yung ma-monitor kasi nga isang app na lang yung monitor mo. Kasi nga naman, no, tama nga naman, kasi if you actually open an account kay GCash, tapos mag-open ka rin ng account kay Paymaya, mag-open ka rin ng account kay Shopee Pay, doon pa lang sa examples ko na yun, you're already monitoring 3 different e-wallet platforms, no, just to monitor sales for your one business. So maganda pala talaga si Paybiz. And again, to your point, medyo na-mention ka kanina, so walang bayad si Paybiz?
Yes, sir. No set of fee, no monthly fee. We only charge for every successful transaction. So kapag refunded siya, hindi ma-charge si merchant, hindi rin ma-charge si customer. Kung hindi nag-proceed talaga si customer, hindi rin ma-charge si merchant.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Gracie, no? Maybe at this point, no, before we proceed further sa ating discussion, maybe would like to invite our participants. Kung meron kayong mga clarification, baka mamaya makalimutan niyo pa yung tanong ninyo, mas maganda maitanong niyo na as early as now, no? So, para at least you can already clarify. So, kung meron, calling once, twice, if not, no, maybe we will reserve that in our Q&A later on. So,
Yes.
again, if they would like to explore Paybiz, so all they have to do is either scan this QR code or go to Paybiz, or actually go to the Apple App Store and Google Play, no, sa kanilang smartphones.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Gracie, no. But stand by, Gracie, no. So syempre we will have again a much formal Q&A later on. Maybe we will just continue on with our presentation proper. So so going back, no, siguro one of the points that nire-raise siguro ni Gracie, bumalik tayo dito sa fintech map sa Philippines, no. So out of 216, kung titingnan natin sa larangan ng payment provider sa Pilipinas, again, Paynamics is just one, and and the e-wallets 29. But kung titingnan natin yung value proposition ni Paybiz halimbawa, no, si Paybiz, isa lang siya doon sa 29, pero they already cater kay GCash, they already cater kay Shopee Pay, they already cater to GrabPay. So ito actually kasama na to, no, Grace, itong mga payment options na to that we're actually seeing on the screen without having to sign up, no, multiple accounts. So yun, siguro sa mga MSMEs natin, again, that one of the biggest value proposition that we can actually highlight, no, with the product of Paybiz, no? So yun, again, thank you so much, Ms. Gracie. Stand by as we actually again we'll talk about more maybe later on, no, should our participants have more clarifications. Now, siguro let's transition to transition to scaling your business. Kasi nga syempre sa ibang majority or one of the major aspects ng fintech is really payments. Pero kung titingnan ulit natin yung fintech space, no? So merong nasa lending, And actually marami diyan, no? And pumunta lang kayo sa mga events sa malls, no? May mga nagpapautang yan, si Kasyalo, meron yan sina Atomy, mga buy now pay later, among other things, no? But a lot of these lending are again very consumer driven. No? Meaning, kapos ka sa budget ngayon, wala kang pang grocery, gusto mo ng 5,000, mag-download ka ng app nila at pag-scan ka lang ng ID, technically pauutangin ka na nila agad, no? Although medyo slightly controversial yung itong mga lending apps na to, kaya not too long ago the Securities and Exchange Commission actually put a moratorium on online lending apps. So medyo if not kumonti yung ating mga lending providers. But from the perspective ng ating mga MSMEs, usually no, pag tayo ang may kailangan for investment or maybe additional capitalization, our typical route, and again, our typical route is, for example, yung ating attached agency ng DTI na SB Corp or Small Business Corporation, o yung mga bangko, no? Or for lack of better word, yung loan sharks, no? Or most commonly known to us yung mga kumbaga Bombay, no? Yung mga nagpapa 5-6. So in the interest of scaling our business, maybe one of the things that I would like to share with our participants today is how can we actually scale our business through P2P lending, no? Ano ba yung P2P, no? Ano bang ibig sabihin ng P2P lending? Ano ba ibig sabihin ng P2P in the first place? And to help us understand how the likes of Seedin Technologies help us scale our businesses, I'd like to formally introduce one of the Seedin Technologies sales account executive, Ms. Ross Ann Peña.
Hello, Sir
Ross, good
MJ.
morning.
Hello, Sir MJ. Good morning. Do you hear me po?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hello,
All right.
everyone. Good morning. So, thank you for today event invitation. So, allow me to share my screen.
Of course.
Do you see my screen?
Yep. So maybe slideshow lang. So yun, so habang nagpe-prepare si Ross, no, so no, kasi one of the things ang pinag-uusapan namin tong Fintech Fridays ni Ms. Sharon, siguro for sure, no, medyo redundant na yung for us to talk about really just digital payments alone. Because to a certain extent, some of you are already familiar, and maybe some of you are already accepting the likes of GCash and Paymaya for that matter. So we thought na maybe it's really it's one of the things we also would like to highlight for this morning session is financial literacy, no? Pero yung financial literacy po natin, hindi po kayo bebentahan ng insurance, but instead, no, to give you an alternative option on how you can actually scale your business through P2P lending or business financing solution. So again, take it away, Rose Ann.
Okay, Sir MJ. Thank you. So, Seedin is alternative business financing platform for small to medium businesses. So usually businesses come to us for several reasons. So sector we serve are FMCG, energy, pharma, contractors, and for the additional working capitals and yung expansion needs nila. So we also improvement of logistics, additional manpower, and additional equipment, as well as inventory management. So basically, no, whatever the purpose of a business working capital is, um our platform or our company can provide through our platform. So our business model is very simple, no, and it's a platform that we match make to individuals. So our solution is crowdfunding. So if you have heard crowdfunding or hindi nyo pa siya naririnig, no, basically, no, crowd or crowdfunding are common purpose. So a lot of people put in a little money para ma-achieve natin yung purpose. So actually hindi na siya bago sa atin dito sa Philippines, no. Dito kasi tinatawag natin siyang paluwagan. So parang ganun din siya. So aside from the our company look for financing through traditional means of let's say banks, lending companies. So you're borrowing big sum for from a few parties. So in our case, no, we call this centralized. So madaming tao, so they chip in together to lend to this business. So in return, the investor, they get the fixed interest also. So our model, so on the left side, so you have your business borrowers. So and they go to our platform to seek working capitals. So nag-a-apply sila ng working capital or loan application. So we work with the top banks in the country and come up with a credit score para dun sa business nila. So once we have the credit score and approved ng aming credit committee, so the project is posted to our platform or matchmaking. So para siyang dating app, no, so parang Tinder, no, may ano din siya, may matchmaking din siya. So merong ganun si Seedin for SMEs naman siya. So we matchmake to the right, which is the investor side. So we can invest for as low as 1,000 pesos. So what they get to in return po. So the return of interest is any of 7 or 15% per annum. So on average, they're getting 1% per month, on which 6 lending rate return. So which is good, no, kasi yung 1% is per month yon. So very easy siya kaysa dun sa banks, no, yung mga savings or time deposit rates natin. Kasi 'di ba kapag mga savings per annual 1.25% lang siya. Kapag time deposit naman 1% per annum 'yon. So dito 1% per month na 'yon. So and it is short term, so 1 to 12 months siya lang yung ating financing. So it's very short term, so regular repayment, fixed return. So we only do secured financing then kasi collateralize siya, either soft or hard assets. So ano ba yung soft assets? So we have account receivables, corporate guarantor, personal guarantor, and yung hard asset naman is yung titles, real estate, yung ating mga vehicle or yung ORCR. So we are funded more than 10 billion across 5 countries. So like Singapore, Philippines, Taiwan, Cambodia, and Malaysia. So our network of investor are around the world, mostly Filipinos here and OFW for as low as 1,000 pesos. So kung meron na kayong 1,000 dyan, pwede na kayong mag-invest kay Seedin. Ayan. So our management team, so our international management team, we have Amos Chen, President of Taiwan, Sir Anson T. Uy, our President and CEO in the Philippines, and Dexter Y. Chu, our partner and director, Miss Cindy Wang, our partner and director in Taiwan, and Sir Edison Chai, our executive director here in the Philippines, and Miss Imelda Chong, director, and Miss Gina De La Vega Cruz, our independent director. So our partners institutions is we have Sterling, Metro Bank, Union Bank, and we also have DTI and Phil Export, and we also link to GCash, Fintech Philippines, Fintech Alliance, and Coins PH. So, it is very simple and clear lang yung mission ni Seedin. So, Filipinos for the success of Filipinos SMEs. So, we have over 80,000 investors from over 80 countries, and one-third of them are OFW. So, our proposition, so as a business, you can borrow initially 1 million up to 10 million. So, secured by collaterals, like I mentioned, no, we have soft assets, yung ating mga receivables, yan, and then hard asset, yung ating ORCR, land title, and also short tenure up to 12 months. Option to terminate the loan with rebates and discount. So faster communication and transparency. So we will have Viber group or community. So we go to extra mile. So if you are investor or borrower, we deploy due diligence process. So we facilitate the matchmaking. We perform the collection on your behalf if you are the investor, and we do the disbursement to our borrower and do the liquidation in case of loan defaults. So as a business borrower, so the requirements are similar to the banks. So first is yung DTI certificate natin, yung SEC certificate, yung ITR, ayan. So ito naman po, once na nag-apply naman kayo sa amin, we will send it naman po through email. So, ayan. And then, valid ID of company president, list of outstanding loan, SALN, business plan, company profile, and board resolutions. So, some of the project will funded here from FMCG, real estate, and trading and IT. So, ayan po sila. So, you can also, ayan. So, start your financing journey with us. So, our business is purely online. So, as a borrower or issuer, we can go to our website. So, www.seedinph.tech/register. So, once you done the profile, so once you done to sign the profile po, so once na approve, please submit po yung online request ninyo and submit the requirements to our for credit assessment. And you can also follow us on Facebook, and we have also Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter. So you can also download our apps via Google Play Store or App Store and sign up. So sobrang bilis lang naman mag-sign up dun sa aming apps, no? Siguro wala pang 10 minutes. So, ayan, so thank you. So you can also email me at roseanne@seedinph.tech, and we can and I can link po yung ating website dun sa ating chat box later. So that's all from my presentation. Thank you for listening. So back to you, Sir MJ.
All right. Thank you, Roseanne. No? Pwedeng pabalik ng presentation.
Sure, sir.
By the way, hindi ka namin nakikita sa video mo.
Ay, sorry. Sorry. Okay.
Pabalik ako ng presentation para we can discuss some of the details. So, kasi for sure yan. This is relatively new, no?
Yes.
Actually, when I first heard about it, it was really interesting. Can you go dun sa slide ng mga yung mga past investments?
Ito po ba, sir?
Pa-presentation view na lang.
Ay, sorry.
Okay, so in the interest of our MSME stakeholders, so technically, again, Seedin is a business financing platform. So essentially,
Binabayaran ang dapat every
in a more technical term, it's a P2P lending platform, no? P2P because it's a peer-to-peer. Now,
dito na tayo dumaan para lock dyan ang pinto.
minumute ko na eh. Anyway, tawag dito. So for example, if our participant MSMEs would like to, if our MSMEs would like to seek assistance from Seedin and they're looking for additional capitalization to buy an equipment, to magpatayo ng building. So technically, how Seedin can help is they can be listed dito sa platform, no? So in this particular case, can you talk about halimbawa itong ReadyMart, no? So si ReadyMart, ano to, multi-resources.
Opo. Ano siya, sir? Parang grocery store, yan.
Okay, so grocery stores to.
Opo.
Tapos they were seeking 8 million pesos, tama ba?
Yes, sir.
No? So nung nag-express sila ng interest to get a business loan through Seedin, the amount that they're looking for is 8 million.
Yes.
So, but in technicality, hindi si Seedin na nagpapautang sa kanila. No? So, can you elaborate on that? Kasi technically sa yung 8 million hinihingi nila or pinost nila sa Seedin, pero hindi si Seedin ang magbibigay sa kanila ng 8 million. So, can you walk us through paano mabubuo yung 8 million?
Yun sir yung tinatawag natin ng mga investor, no? So, yung mga nag-i-invest, so parang sila din yung nagbibigay ng 8 million na yun, sir. So, yun naman sir, so pwede kayo mag-invest like yung nabanggit ko kanina, start ng 1,000 pesos. So, kung may 1,000 pesos kayo, pwede kayo mag-invest kay ReadyMart. Yeah.
I see. So, for example, no, so si ReadyMart, naghahanap siya ng 8 million. Pero yung 8 million hindi ipo-provide ni Seedin by themselves. But instead, since it's kumbaga, to your point kanina, it's a crowdsourcing platform. So parang it's a similar principle ng Grab tsaka ng Uber, no? Instead of getting it from one taxi company, you're getting it from different individuals na may kotse just an analogy. But in this particular case, no, it's ang magpapahiram ng 8 million is it's a number of people, iba't ibang tao na merong spare money na, for example, to your point, no, kung ang 1,000 lang yung pera mo sa ngayon, so halimbawa itong si Sir Neil, no, nasa loob siya ng kotse niya, meron siyang extra 5,000 at gusto niya, parang yung 5,000 ko, gusto kong lumago kahit pa paano, pero again, yung mga bangko kasi natin sobrang liit ng interest, di ba? Ngayon, si Seedin is a good platform as well for a potential investor who would like to to grow their money by becoming an investor na yung 5,000 niya, pwede niyang i-chip in doon sa 8 million. So ngayon, dahil nagbigay ka na ng 5,000, yung 8 million, naghahanap ka na lang ng 7,900,995. Kasi yung 5,000, chinipinas ni Sir Neil. So ngayon, naghahanap ka na lang iba pang may 5,000 or actually, magkano minimum ulit investment?
1,000 sir.
1,000 pesos.
Yes po. 1,000 pesos you can invest na.
Correct. So ngayon, yung 8 million ay bubuuin ng iba't ibang tao. Ngayon, in return, yung 5,000 halimbawa ni Neil ay tutubo ng ilang percent?
7% sir, estimated. So depende po kasi sa project sir.
Okay. So yung 5,000 niya pwedeng lumago ng 7% at again, yung 8 million kasi siyempre hindi naman yan pag-ibig na babayaran ng 30 years, no? To your point, short term lang yung loan. So ito, ang pinakamatagal na ay up to 12 months, tama ba?
Sorry.
Yung terms ng loan is only maximum of how many months?
12 months, sir. Actually,
12
sir,
months.
yung iba 12 months lang. Pero yung pinakamatagal talaga, sir, is 12 months.
And yung pinakamaikli?
Hello.
2 months po. May 1 month din. Hello, Sir Neil.
Sorry, nakamute pala ako. Good
Ayan.
morning, Sir MJ, to our participants. Yes, sir. tama na 12 months yung maximum na term, and on the average mga 3 to 6 months.
I see. Okay, so in that particular case, kumbaga no, yung perang 5,000 is pwedeng bumalik agad in 5 months. So depende nga doon sa maturity ng loan, or rather yung terms na sinet para doon sa loan, tama?
Yes sir, and may monthly payout na yon. So monthly may nare-receive na silang returns.
I see. So yun, no? So parang dalawa kasing perspective dito sa particular platform na to. No? So kung yung mga MSMEs natin yung naghahanap ng additional funding, this is a good way for them to get published kasi inumutang sila sa mga 5,656. Yun pala, to your point, no, medyo balikan lang natin yung interest. So if the interest that we're giving sa investors is about 7%, that also means that 7% din yung potential interest doon sa loan na kukunin nila through Seedin. Tama po ba yung intindi ko?
No sir, yung sa interest rate on loan, ang annualized is on the average mga 7% or mga 3% per month yan eh. Pero there's a percentage out of that annualized return that goes to investors na mga on the average mga 6% to 7%.
I see. So ang yun nga, kagandahan kasi niya, no, it's really a crowdfunding platform, no. So sa mga business na naghahanap ng additional capitalization at yung mga individuals naman na walang mapaglagyan ng pera can actually meet dito sa platform. So isang naghahanap ng pera, isang may money to spare,
yes,
no? So it's
sir, yung si Seedin provides the online and electronic platform. This is the bridge, the virtual bridge between users ng funds, yung mga issuers or borrowers, and the sources of funds, which is the public at large, the general public, the investors.
Correct. So ibig sabihin lang nito, no, kumbaga, if our participants kasi, no, from the perspective of an investor, no, hindi katulad ng stock market na kailangan mo talagang aralin yung akyat baba ng stocks. Ito, meron kang extra money na and you would like to become an investor. All you have to do is just sign up an account and maghanap ka lang ng businesses na gusto mong pag-investan. No? So katulad nakikita sa screen ngayon, mamili lang siya dyan. For example, itong gusto niya 3 million.
Yes sir.
Ilagay yung 5,000 niya, yung 1,000 niya. Pwede in just few minutes.
Yes sir. Ang gagawin niya sir, paparegister siya doon sa platform, magkakaroon ng konting KYC process. Then pag in-approve yung kanyang registration, pwede na siyang magkaroon ng access doon sa mga projects. Ma-view niya na yung mga projects so he can make investment decisions.
I see. So this is really a very good alternative, no, doon sa ating mga current either investment platform na to some, no, medyo mahirap aralin, and for the business naman who would actually looking for additional funding, it's a good alternative that one, again, the very short term, no, talagang kung kailangan mo lang for the next 3 months, for the next 12 months maximum. So it's a good avenue to have that, no, at least kumbaga, kaysa umutang ka nga naman sa kamag-anak na medyo malaki pa yun, utang na loob mo, ito, yes, they're getting it from strangers, no?
Yes, sir.
Pero, even though they are strangers, si Seedin is actually doing a certain level of due diligence naman.
Yes sir. Yes sir.
To qualify, no, yung mga
totoo yun sir. Merong credit evaluation process. It's almost the same as those conducted by banks. Meron din tayong collateral na nire-require. So ano to sir, very thorough yung ating credit evaluation process.
I see. Thank you so much for those clarification, Neil and Roseanne, no. So that's really helpful, and again, to me it's really it really blows me away to know na meron tayong mga ganitong types of platform. Although again, siguro I just also medyo ito last na lang, no. I just have to clarify, no, kasi medyo nabanggit kanina yung paluwagan, no. Sa paluwagan, again, yung paluwagan kasi 'di ba parang it's a group of people chipping into money, tapos parang depende kung kailan yung scheduled payout mo, then you get the money. But in this particular case, technically, no, it's similar to paluwagan because it's crowdsourcing, but not the same because yun nga, parang you're funding a particular, again, no, a particular investment, no? Merong specific na paggagamitan yung pera. So hindi siya technically iikot, no? Parang for example, yung pera ng yung 5,000 ng iba ay mapupunta sa hindi siya ganoon. So essentially, yung revenue or yung interest that you're going to gain or from the platform is the interest that was gained, no? Doon sa terms of the loan that was filed na by the business, no? So maybe just clarify lang dong part ng paluwagan kasi baka mamaya syempre medyo mas ma-misinterpret ng ating mga MSMEs yung it's an online paluwagan kasi
Oo. Hindi sir parang paluwagan. Far from it. Ang kagandahan dito sir sa crowdfunding sir is ang purpose nito including yung mga laws that have been passed supporting crowdfunding. Ang objective niyan is to provide financial inclusion sa mga MSMEs. So sila talaga yung target beneficiaries nito And nagpo-provide ito ng alternative na financing sa kanila. So matutulungan sila to build a good mga traditional credit sources like banks. So maganda itong tulong sa mga MSMEs.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that, Neil. No? So yun, no? Maybe Rosan, you can maybe stop sharing so that we can actually proceed, no? To our forum. Kasi for sure, no, I think we may have certain clarifications from our participants, no? Both, no, from the digital payments and this P2P lending or crowd funding. Siguro pa-highlight na lang si Rose Ann, myself, and maybe Gracie. And maybe Neil na rin since Neil already joined the discussion anyway.
Siguro sir, pwedeng mai-add siguro kasi may mga important na highlights like yung how much yung pwedeng i-borrow ng isang MSME or borrower, issuer. Sa crowdfunding rules kasi governing our business, merong aggregate na 10 million within a 12-month period na pwedeng siguro we can say borrow or aggregate amount of securities that an issuer can sell or offer. So 10 million kung ang mga investors would be to whom this will be offered or sold would be what we call retail investors. But the borrowing limit will be as high as 5 million to 10 million, over 10 million to 50 million if the securities or borrowing will be offered to qualified investors na mga ano to sir, mostly investors na registered with the SEC.
Yun, no? So nabanggit niya yung SEC, no? So I guess for the comfort ng ating mga MSMEs, no, whether they see it from the perspective na as a borrower or as an investor, no, crowdfunding is technically a heavily regulated type of transaction in the Philippines where the likes of SEC only accredited very few platforms, no, to allow to operate in the business.
Currently sir, there are 3 and 2 of which are into debt crowdfunding, and we are one of the 2 duly licensed by the SEC to handle crowdfunding, debt crowdfunding. The other one is equity crowdfunding. So there are 2 debt crowdfunding entities, and we are one of the 2. So relatively new sir, bagong-bago tong business na model natin sa Philippines.
I see, no? So yeah, so yun nga, no? So I guess kasi parang nga kumbaga to give certain level of comfort to our stakeholders this morning. Kumbaga, yes, it's a digital platform that is accessible, easily accessible using apps like our mobile devices. Pero it's heavily regulated, and syempre pag heavily regulated, itong ating mga regulators like BSP and SEC, meron yung certain level of requirements in terms of, again, due diligence, adherence, processes, and not to mention consumer protection. So all of those are pretty much covered, no? And kumbaga in the best interest of the platforms like Seedin and Paynamics, at the same time, no, na kung saan you have processes that ensures the protection of the stakeholders.
Yes,
no?
sir.
Anyway, so yun. Thank you so much for the clarification, Neil, Rose Ann, and at this point, syempre, again, we will open the floor for the question and answer from our audience. Syempre, hindi naman pwedeng sa amin lang lahat ng gagaling information, and we would like to know your thoughts as well, no? On what do you think about the platforms that was just presented to you this morning? Ano yung mga hesitations nyo that maybe you to make those clarifications. Maybe while we're waiting for our question, yun pala, may interest po ba ang nagbaro ang MSME sa Seedin? So so I guess the question was, ang pagbaro ba ng pera through Rose Ann and Neil, you could clarify?
Yes, merong interest, sir. On the average nga, sir, ang annualized interest is 7% or mga 3% per month.
And yung 3% based on the industry interest rates, no, as compared to banks, is this smaller, higher? Can you clarify?
Compared to banks, medyo mas mataas tayo, pero tumataas na rin, sir, ang interest rate ng banks today. And pero compared to other financing companies, medyo competitive na, sir. And this can be, sir, this can be reduced if, halimbawa, magkaroon na siya ng maganda relationship, we can, siguro, sir, provide a lesser interest rate.
I see.
Down the road.
So hopefully that was, yun. Kasi, yun, ako personally, I would expect to charge interest because one, technically nga, kasi nga dalawa kasi yung types of user nyo, isang borrower tsaka isang investor. And ako, kung may extra money ako, and to be transparent, I think may over 100, I will not disclose the amount that I have in Seedin because I've been an investor, I think, for nearly 5 years already, no? So I think meron akong umiikot dyan lang na hindi ko ginagalaw, no? But there are actually two types of user, investor and borrower. And again, ako as an investor, yung meron akong pera dyan na technically na, is the money is just lodged there na parang pag may bagong borrower, automatic, meron kasing auto-invest na,
yes,
can you talk about Alfred?
Yes, Alfred, yan yung auto-invest feature. So, meron kang allocation from your naka-top up na funds to be invested automatically based on your preferences naman, sir. Based on your preferences. So parang if there's a new project that's coming up, immediately meron ka ng investment doon.
Yun. So yun, kasi nga ako, syempre, mga busy tayong tao. So syempre, I don't have time to really look at Seedin app, no, regularly. So thankfully, meron kayong feature na Alfred na based on my investment appetite, siya na yung automatically nagde-deduct sa wallet ko kung magkano i-invest, no?
Yes, sir.
Naman yun. But at least kasi nga parang hindi mo kailangan bantayan. No?
Yes, sir. Walang opportunity that will pass up.
Correct.
Walang missed opportunity.
And yun, I think compared to savings, kung nilagay ko yung pera ko sa savings, baka yung pera na yun,
siyempre.
No?
Ubus na, lalo na yung inflation rate natin napakataas, so wala nang matitira doon sa kung meron mang returns na ma-realize ka pa from an ordinary or regular deposit, even time deposit.
Yun. So correct. So sa ating mga MSME participants, no, maybe maybe to explore Seedin, maybe one of the things that you can do as well is, for sure, meron mga extra money dyan, no, that you would like to see how Seedin works. maybe you can sign up on their platform, no? I think Roseanne already shared the link. As low as 1,000 pesos, you can already become an investor and see how your money will grow from there. Now, medyo segue muna tayo, balik tayo sa digital payments, no? So, Gracie, what are the most common challenges? Kasi to your point kanina, this is not the first time that we have presented Paynamics. I think we've met some MSMEs already in the past, no? For one, yung sa ating Pistang Rizaleño in Robinson's Antipolo, and some other MSME engagement. Ano yung common challenges that our MSMEs encounter, or rather ano ba yung mga usual friction points in encouraging them to adapt to this new platform?
Ano sir, una yung COD, yun yung challenge nila kasi usually na-scam sila doon sa mga na talagang intentionally parang pinipili yung COD para mang-scam ng mga tao. Pangalawa, yung different reports sir, kasi for example, ako as a merchant, kung magsa-sign up ako sa different platforms like GCash, Paymaya, tapos may bangko pa, tapos from different customers kasi, different din yung gusto nilang payment. So, yun yung mga challenges ni merchant. Meron ding pangatlo, which is kaya kinreate namin yung web store, yung wala silang sariling website. Kasi may mga nakikita yung customer na parang, ay parang hindi naman yata legit na website to kasi nga may mga ganito, may mga ganyan. So, yun yung mga challenges ng mga merchant. And sa customers end, yun nga, sobrang dali lang ngayon sir mag-scam ng mga tao kasi parang in just one click, ito na, wala na, hindi na mababalik yung thousands na binili sa'yo or something, ganun. Nakuha na yung product mo, hindi nagbayad, tapos nakagawa na ng kwento, ganun. So yun. So.
You mentioned kanina na there's no setup fee, there's no maintenance fee, and you mentioned low transaction fees, no? So can you walk us through or maybe paint us a picture, syempre, how does Paybiz makes it money? Kasi syempre, for sure, sa panahon ngayon wala nang libre, no? How Paybiz model actually works in terms of maybe in terms of fees, no?
Mm-hmm. With this sir, we only charge for only successful transaction. Kada transaction sir 2.5% lang yung dinideduct ni Paybiz. So imagine parang kung 1,000, parang 2.5 is parang 25 pesos, which is parang bank transfer na yun sir sa mga bangko, yung mga convenience fee ngayon nila, e-wallet. So yun sir, yun po yung aming 2.5, and of course the VAT.
One of the more common inquiries that we also get is yung credit card. Yung credit card kasi medyo mahirap siya mag-sign up ng credit card sa mga financial institutions, no? So you mentioned part of the payment options with Paybiz is credit card and debit card. So for our MSME stakeholders this morning, what would it take for them, no, to accept credit card of Paybiz, or is that something that they have to earn?
Actually, sir, as we mentioned yung account limits kanina, for level 1, 50,000 pesos. For you to be qualified sa application ng credit card, you need to submit some documents for you into level 2. So for level 2, valid ka na and qualified ka na to apply into credit card facility na for Paybiz po, sir.
All right. And in terms of the credit card, no, technically yung credit card, it will still be paid through the QR code. Hindi I could just imagine, hindi naman yan sa cellphone isa-swipe yung credit card, no? Tama
Hindi
ba?
sir, sir. Via ano pa rin, store QR code, payment link, and then the web store sir as well.
I see. Anyway, so what could you say, no, to our MSMEs today na parang nga, what would be your takeaway, no, in relation to payments? Why should they make a decision today? Do you have anything you would like to encourage them, no, to do this morning?
Mhm. First, we highly recommend that you register at www.paybiz.ph, and we're so excited actually to help you, actually assist you to set up your own Paybiz portal. And also, yung mga takeaways, si Paynamics Paybiz ay laging kapartner talaga ng mga negosyanteng Pilipino sa mga transactions, and hindi lang sa pag-grow ng business, pero yung pagdami ng sales ninyo at pag-accept ng mga payments ninyo from your customers. So we're very excited for the negosyanteng Pilipino to really thrive dito sa new normal natin.
Thank you, Gracie. And in case, no, kasi for sure, maybe siguro sa out of our 36 participants, maybe yung iba sa kanya talagang baka mahiyain lang in nature. Maybe you could share also some contact number in case you would like to make a direct inquiry, no, or maybe to get them assisted in their digital payments journey. Who can they get in touch with? Where they can get in touch with you? Maybe you can share those details.
Sure, sir. Actually, nag-chat ko yung
Yeah. So if you're actually seeking more like a more direct assistance, no, from the Paynamics Paybiz team, you can get in touch with Gracie through 0917-307-5356, or you can email her at gracie.reyes@paynamics.net or copymarketing@paynamics.net. Thank you so much, Gracie. And syempre, same goes for our friends from Seedin, no? So in case they actually have certain clarifications on, in terms of borrowing or maybe investing on, hopefully borrowing, no? Who can they get in touch with? Where they can reach you? Can you share those details, Rose Ann and
contact number and email. So you can reach us at roseann@seedinph.tech. So for more clarification po, or if you have inquiries pa, so para mas detailed po yung aming presentation. So thank you. Sir Neil, do you share po anything?
How about you, Neil? Any other takeaways that we may have missed, no? Or maybe some thoughts to ponder, no? You're just muted lang, Neil. Maybe you can unmute.
Unmute,
So
sorry,
that they
sorry.
can hear you. No worries.
Siguro they should check out yung Seedin, itong platform namin, as another or alternative source of funding. Mahirap yung economic situation natin ngayon. Ang hirap din ng mag-access ng credit from traditional sources like banks. So siguro magandang alternative ito and support sa ating mga small businesses na merong bagong source of funding. Napakadali naman i-access nito and less formal yung ating mga internal process, paperless pa, so very easy yung ating way of doing business. So, but at the same time, syempre, meron tayong mga internal controls na sinusunod to manage our risks. Merong credit evaluation process, so hindi ito bara-bara. Meron tayong collateral. Ang kagandahan natin, yung collaterals natin dito, medyo broad yung collaterals na pwede nating i-consider, like yung mga personal property, like access accounts receivables, inventories. Itong mga collaterals na to, sir, hindi tinatanggap sa bangko ito. And lately, tinitingnan na din natin ng real estate kasi magandang it's a very strong collateral. Talagang very secure ang interest of our investors kung meron tayong real estate as collateral. Pero very broad yung ating different types of collateral that we accept. Personal guarantees, corporate guarantees, napakadami. So, yun, mas makakatulong tayo. And then, pag naka-create tayo ng credit score for for our small businesses, pwede na silang mag-avail of other traditional financing sources like banks. Nila to expand or to stay afloat during these trying times. So, yun, check us out. Napakadali lang. Register lang kayo. Wait for your registration to be approved, and then you will just have to submit a list of requirements for disclosure purposes as required by our regulatory agencies. Ano naman sir, sa standard loan and collateral corporate documents and that's it. Pwede na kayong subject to evaluation. Malalaman na natin kung you can borrow na or not.
Thank you so much, Neil. And again, I really appreciate your thoughts on this, especially also Rose for presenting the case naman for Seedin. In fact, when I first heard about Seedin, and I was able to hear it directly from Edison himself. We were both presenter at an event. One of the most favorite examples I heard him say is merong isang IT building, I think in Singapore yata yun or Cambodia if I'm not mistaken. Meron daw nag-post doon na seeking to borrow through Seedin na makapagpatayo ng isang IT building. And then syempre, parang pwede daw bilang investor na nag-chip in lang ng 1,000 pesos, pwede mo daw sabihin or you could possibly claim na yung isang tile doon sa building na yon, ikaw yung may-ari ng isang pirasong tile na yon out of your 1,000 pesos, no?
Yes,
so sa totality ng IT building, no?
Oo nga, sir.
So yun. So I guess parang investing does not have to be from the perspective of an investor, it doesn't have to be complicated. It can be as simple as and at a minimum of 1,000 pesos you can already earn a certain level of interest and give that money to some businesses who in dire need of the whole lot. No, parang ikaw kumbaga yung pera mo technically para din naman siyang bangko technically, no, pero
yes sir, technically
alam mo na parang alam mo kung sino yung gumagamit ng perang pinahiram mo. Hindi katulad sa bangko, si bangko lang nakakaalam kung saan niya ginagamit yung pera But ikaw yung namimili, where would you like to invest your 1,000 pesos. So for example, meron kang certain inclination sa grocery, sa fisheries, among other things, no. So alam mo kung saan napupunta yung ini-invest mong pera. And again, the guarantees of returns will always be there kasi nga the borrower will have to pay interest anyway. So yun, so kasama ka, ikaw yung isa sa mga binabayaran. At si Seedin, nagiging kumbaga platform lang siya or material na kung saan, again, meeting of the minds nga kung tawagin. So I'm very happy to have all of you this morning.
Actually, Sir MJ, sa standpoint naman ng investor, aside from aside from compared with banks and probably other investment outlets, relatively mataas yung return ni Seedin. Pero marami din namang mas mataas ang return kay Seedin Pero ang investment naman is not just about returns Minsan you invest into something even if ang returns niya is relatively low for diversification purposes. So na ma-manage mo yung risk better. Like for example, kahit na mataas ang returns ng stocks, hindi mo naman i-invest lahat ng pera mo sa stocks 'di ba? Mag-i-invest ka sa other investment outlets na ang returns are relatively low because of diversification. So this adds another asset to your portfolio for diversification purposes. Another thing, sir, meron siyang liquidity mechanism dahil nga short term, mabilis mo mare-recover. And in fact, during the subscription period, may part yung subscription period, posting period of the project where you can withdraw your funds if you change your mind. So may liquidity mechanism siya. And number 3, meron kang scale economies. Ang investment mo kasi, although may return, merong cost yan na idinideduct sa return mo. So yung dinideduct na sa return mo na cost will be relatively low because of scale economies dahil yung cost na distribute over thousands of investors Whereas kung mag-isa ka lang na nag-invest, yung cost doon mas malaki. So ito sir yung mga advantages of investing in Seedin.
Yeah. You know, the participants this morning will say that I'll be biased. Well, technically I am, no, because I am already an
Pero
investor.
investor.
Pero syempre, I would like to have it, you know, I would like you guys to check it out for yourself, no? See how what can actually do
Yes.
for the money, no? And again, to the kind of people that you can also help through your, you know, as low as 1,000 pesos. Not only actually generate interest in the process, but again, invest your money to, again, to the types of kumbaga, business needs na you think na magandang paglagyan ng pera mo. Kumbaga, you're the ones who makes that kind of decisions. But
Yes, sir.
again, for that, Neil, again, thank you so much for all those insights. And yun, so at this point, syempre, you know, again, I would like to thank and express my deep gratitude to our panelists today, you know. So si Gracie from Paynamics, Roseanne and Neil from Seedin. You know, I'm more than grateful for the time that you have spent with us this morning. So yun, so hopefully this is just a beginning, no, of the many Fintech Fridays that we will do together. So hopefully, no, magkaroon pa tayo ng succeeding runs, no, considering that this is only a pilot that we're doing, no, for DTI Rizal today, no. So again, I guess there's like over 200 fintech players, and we're fortunate to have two of them. Not only the two of them, but two of the most leading, if not the most relevant fintech players in the industry today. So again, I'm just grateful for the time and the time and the insight that is shared to our MSME stakeholders today. So at this point, maybe, you know, in terms of the industry, we just want to highlight that again, we're just very optimistic with the industry itself, no? In the interest of fraud, kasi nga sa digital payments, yun naman yung mga typical constraint natin, no? Paano kung fake booking yan, paano kung fake order yan, no? I think the likes of Paybiz has security protocols in place that prevents those types of incidents, no? But in this industry naman, we already have the likes of Cybercrime Prevention Act, no? By criminalizing online fraud. In fact, a couple of years back, personally, when I was running an online marketplace, dati yung fraud has to happen first before you can actually file a criminal case. But now, even fraud attempts, no, pwede ka nang magkaso through the Cybercrime Division. The other thing is yung mobile SIM registration in the country. Meron tayong mobile portability law that serves as alternate proof of identity, no? Although I think I recall President Duterte before he ends his term, I think Benito yata to. This is actually one of the laws that we're very optimistic about, kasi while the national ID still has yet to be rolled out, no, in my case, yung aking ID I think 1 year and 6 months na yata na hindi matrace doon sa PhilSys, no. But in the absence of a national ID system, I was optimistic for the mobile SIM registration, because again, that puts identity to the mobile numbers, considering kasi in the Philippines that mobile numbers are relatively cheap, like 30 pesos lang, 15 pesos, makakabili ka na ng SIM card, no? And that's usually being used as a method for defrauding small businesses, no? So we were optimistic about that, and again, ultimately, national ID natin, once we already have national identity, this actually will reduce significantly yung the types of forms that we fill out, no? Yung mga sandamakmak na forms na binibigay sa atin ng mga bangko, ng mga financial institution just to open an account, no? I think that's one of the greatest value, no? Kasi kumbaga marireduce yung KYC process, no? So especially sa mga fintech providers, because each citizen will have, again, single point of identity through the national ID system, no? So hopefully that will in the process create again credit scoring for the country. Now, for our MSMEs naman, obviously, no, I think some of the biggest takeaways there is again, 70% of our market is already digital. So this could only mean that, again, the market is, again, spending already 10 hours and 27 minutes in a day. So that just forces us to, again, digitize certain level of operations. It's no longer a choice, but instead, it's something that we have to embrace out of this pandemic, our customers will already, will already have certain level of behavior that they will think digital first. Kasi nga parang, kaysa magbiyahe pa ako papunta somewhere to a particular store, then, is it something that I can transact digitally? So we have to consider going digital because nowadays digital is practically free. In the example of Paybiz alone, there's no setup fee, there's no maintenance fee. You only pay per transaction. So, kumbaga, nagbabayad ka lang ng transaction fee kung meron kang successful transaction. So, you don't lose anything in the process, no? And yet, you're still already adapting to digital by, again, at least digitizing certain level of your operations, particularly in accepting payments from your customers who could be coming not only from other parts of the Philippines, but also from global, no? Kasi remember, again, when you go to the internet, your market is no longer just Rizal, you're no longer just Calabarzon, but entire Philippines and the whole world, no, who actually could access the internet, no. So with the right audience targeting, with the right strategy, you can actually engage those types of customers in the process, and again, serve their needs and receive their payments, no, at your own convenience without having to set up tedious process among other things by using these platforms. And in a way, no, at the end of the day, technology is meant to make things simpler, not more complex. No, I think that's always been the thing. No, I've been telling our participants that technology is meant to make things simpler, not more complex. It's supposed to help you. It's supposed to make it easier for you as a business, so that you in the process, utilize your time and energy to the things that matter the most. No, like spending time with your family. Business development, product development. You don't have to burden yourself in understanding complex matters that are, you think that not necessarily your strength, no? So you only utilize things that you actually understand that helps you automate certain level of doing things in the process. So hopefully these are the type of things that you would get to appreciate as we actually do these types of learning, no? Kasi nga, and again, we're very thankful for today's attendance because, no? Kumbaga, you only stop growing if you stop learning. And the fact that you guys spent your morning with us today, it's, it's very commendable. That means that you as an enterprise is, again, have that openness to learn something new that you can potentially apply to respective business, if not your, experiences. And at this point, no, again, we would like to thank our partners from the Department of Trade and Industry, particularly the Rizal Provincial Office, no, through the leadership and a very energetic business development chief, Ms. Sharon Joko. And Ms. Sharon, are you here? Ms. Sharon. Ayan. So Ms. Sharon. So again, Ms. Again, I'm only very, I just want to express how grateful I am on behalf of the Digital Commerce Association, the Fintech Philippines Association, and of course, the likes of Seedin Technologies and Paynamics, where we're grateful for the opportunity that you have extended to us to present, again, emerging platforms and again, showcase what we can do for our MSME stakeholders here in Rizal. Maraming salamat po. And maybe you can a few words as we close our this morning's program po.
Yes, thank you, Sir MJ. Ginawa po talaga natin tong it's a date, save the date, every Fridays po for our MSMEs. Right now we have MSMEs enrolled to our programs like KME, Auto, yan, and then yung ating mga regular clients po natin. So, ay binuksan po ng aming pong Officer in Charge, Provincial Director, Ma'am Cleo, ang ating pong Fintech Fridays. So this will be a regular program po ng DTI, Rizal Provincial Office, in collaboration po kina Sir MJ and his team. At kasama din po natin yung iba't iba pa po nating mga kapatid when it comes to fintech and digital payment platform. So allow me to express also our gratitude to our expert resource speaker, si Ma'am Gracie Reyes from Paybiz and Sir Edison Tai of Seedin Technologies. Lagi nga po natin naririnigan yung fintech. Ano ba yung fintech? So it's a catch-all term referring to software,
yung mga mobile, yung mga techie dyan, yung mga mobile application and other technologies created. Sabi nga ni Sir MJ, and I agree with him na dapat ito ay pagagaanin yung buhay natin. Ano po? So for our MSMEs right now, here in our webinar, I hope hindi lamang po tayo nakinig, but also we have to explore po talaga and maximize po the use of financial technology. Technology plus innovation, yun po yung talagang dinadala po ng anyong pong DTI Rizal para po makapag-compete tayo with the traditional delivery of financial services. So thank you po for Ms. Gracie, ayan, for opening our views on digital payment. Hindi po siya yung payment per se, but also exploring din po yung other advantages po of using these platforms. And also for focusing on yung crowdsourcing, ayan po. Sa iba po hindi masyado nilang naiintindihan pa, but thank you for the assistance to help our business sector, our entrepreneurs to yung kanilang mga negosyo ay mag-grow talaga, kasi yun naman talaga ang gusto ng Seedin Philippines, to help grow great businesses. And sa ating mga MSMEs na nandito, rest assured po ng ang aming pong agency with our new leadership, makapaghatid pa po tayo ng ganitong klaseng mga webinar para higit pong maintindihan ng ating mga MSMEs ang paggamit po ng hindi lang po ng digital payments, but also yung e-commerce. We've been partnering po, para lang po sa ating lahat, we've been partnering with Sir MJ. Payat pa po ako noon eh. Nung nag-start tayo na mag-e-commerce, mag-online shopping, bago pa nagkaroon ng Lazada, ang Rizal, together with Sir MJ. And we've been advocating po sa ating mga MSMEs na gamitin po talaga, i-maximize po talaga ang e-commerce. Not only lahat, but natutuwa nga po kami at eto na, nagkakaroon na din po ng paradigm shifting na talagang ma-maximize po ang paggamit po ng digitalization sa negosyo. Kaya naman po, kami na Sir MJ, po sa mga MSMEs, actually, we've been working with the industry association, business organizations, para talagang i-alok sa kanila itong ganitong klaseng, hindi lang po technology, but also innovation na po. Kaya tonto po ako Sir MJ na natuloy natin tong ating serye. So we have on 19 and 26 at tatawid po ng September. So sana po yung ating mga MSMEs ay patuloy pong subaybayan po yung ating pong mga Fintech Fridays para po kung hindi man po tayo makasabay sa ngayon, ay maintindihan po natin ang advantages po nito sa ating mga negosyo. So our business counselors na nandito and our OTOP support staff with EJ and the Kyle and other negosyo center business counselor, thank you for spending the entire this morning para po maintindihan, kasi bukod po sa ating mga MSMEs, rin po natin ang ating mga colleagues dito po sa DTI Rizal, maintindihan po yung kahalagahan ng financial technology or ng digital payment. Para po pag may mga pumunta sa mga ating po mga negosyo centers, we have 60 negosyo centers all over the province, ay maialok po nila o ma-retest nila ang kahalagahan po Director, Ms. Clay Duran. Maraming salamat po mula po sa Business Development Division, sa po ng aking mga kasamahan dito sa DTI Provincial Office, sa inyo pong participation. Siguro we deserve a clap reaction sa ating pong mga resource speakers, sa ating pong napakagaling na facilitator, si Sir MJ, for this very fruitful discussion and presentation of various services for our MSMEs. Maraming salamat po at magandang umaga po sa ating lahat.
Yun, thank you so much, Ms. Sharon. No? Again, we're just very grateful just for the opportunity alone that they've extended to us and making this as a venue to showcase again mga emerging platforms. Again, hindi na to bago natin pinag-usapan. In fact, I think 12 years ago, I recall doon sa isang maliit na restaurant sa tapat ng office ng DTI, medyo si PD Mercy pa, very passionate din in talking about digitalization. And again, here we are 12 years later, only proves na tama yung pinag-usapan natin 12 years ago. No? So again, we're very grateful. Now, just again, reminder as mentioned sa ating chat, we would like to remind our participants again to ayun, pinost ng atin ng DTI Rizal doon sa ating chat box to do not forget to fill out yung class satisfaction feedback. This will actually help us as we actually expand ng ating Fintech Fridays or other programs for. So we would like to hear and maybe some topics that you would like to have included.
Baka may gusto para silang Sir MJ, may gusto para silang topic na hindi pa namin naiisip, although meron ng naka-plancha, pero open pa naman po tayo dyan.
Correct. This is me wearing my hat as an industry association leader. Ako naman, my commitment will be I'll continually be forever agnostic naman to the needs of our MSMEs. Although syempre may certain level of biases because those biases naman come from a good place wherein I know that those platforms, those technology works that I've tried myself that I would like to have echoed to our MSMEs. So syempre hindi kami magre-recommenda din ng something that will compromise also our MSMEs. So yun, so on behalf of the Digital Commerce Association and the Fintech Philippines Association, thank you DTI Rizal, Paynamics, Seedin Technologies, and again, our today's participants, our MSMEs, for spending the morning with us. Maraming salamat at happy lunch everyone. Magandang umaga po sa inyo lahat.
Thank you, Sir MJ. See you soon.
Thank you, Sir MJ.
Thank you po. Bye-bye.